iPhone.
All
Yeah,
right, let's go.
we are.
All right. Okay, good evening, everybody. We're so delighted to have you in today's call, ladies and gentlemen, crypto icons and baddies. It's my absolute honor and delight to welcome you to the maiden edition of Web3 Value Demi Bootcamp Crypto Beginner Cohort. I do appreciate you for signing up for today's class. We're so grateful and we're happy to have you here. And we promise that it's a beautiful choice you just made. So thank you very much. My name is Emedion Kalsi, and I'm super excited to be your host and compare for this session. Today, we will listen to veteran blockchain developer, Akwa finest, real estate, travel, and immigrations facilitator, a crypto icon, who would introduce us to the world of cryptocurrencies. So fasten your seatbelts, get your attention and notepads ready as we welcome Samuel Joseph to take the lead. Ladies and gentlemen, today's class will be talking about introduction to cryptocurrencies. All those things you've been hearing, the airdrops, everything. Was Bitcoin, was Ethereum, what are stable coins? We're going to have a deep dive into it in this session. And I would implore you to get your attention on board and listen attentively and also drop your questions in the chat box as we have this right. So welcome, Mr. Samuel. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. It's very possible that some people might be listening from different part of the world. So good day, everyone. Um, that it's good to be here, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts with your community. Right. Um, yeah, my name is Samuel Joseph. I'm a blockchain and cryptocurrency enthusiast, right? We're still learning each and every day. We're still learning about this whole. We call it Web3 now. We used to call it Web3 back then, right? It's a cool technology, right? I think I'll start by giving us a short story of how I started. Right. So back, I was in school. I was in University of Uyo, and you know how we have different students, different kind of students. There are some students that they have people, they are privileged to have people to sponsor them, right? There's some um, students where they had it all, right? And some students where that they have to make their way through school however they want to do it. Now, should I say fortunately or unfortunately, for me, I was in between those students who had someone to give them one or two stuff, and also those who had to take care of themselves. I was just in between because I had this auntie back then that used to give me 10,000 naira every month. I know 10,000 naira every month might sound like like small money, but back then 10,000 was something, right? Thanks to inflation, 10,000 doesn't mean anything anymore. And that is why we're here to learn about cryptocurrency. I believe some of the things I will share will help you learn how to hedge yourself using cryptocurrencies. So back then, with 10,000 naira, right? I think a bag of pure water then was about 15 naira maximum, one full bag, right? And you can cook very nice, meal. Buy egg 25 naira or 30 naira, just turn one or two things with rice, and then you're good to go. So I was just in between. Sometimes my aunt will send stuff. When she doesn't send, I'll just take care of that month myself. But see, I one day I sat down, I said, how long is this person going to keep helping me? And the month she doesn't help me, I'll turn to a hustler. So I said to myself, I was going to change my story. I made that personal decision. And I started looking for ways to make money online, other ways to make money. So I opened a barber shop. I don't know, for those of you that have been to Akwa Ibom State before, or you're in Akwa Ibom, you must have. There's a place called Idaakpo, close to University of Uyo. So I opened a barber shop, and of course, I was not the one cutting the hair. I had to employ someone. And then few months or few weeks later or so, I got to know about MMM, right? So I got to cryptocurrency through MMM. So someone was saying, you could make money um, if you register on MMM, right? So to cut the whole story short, I got in with the little capital I had. I remember I started with 5,000 naira, and then for those of you that know the story, a few years later, MMM went down with everybody's money. So when MMM went down, I was able to make a lot of money right through MMM because I used a strategy that still works for me today. And I think I should share that strategy. So there's a strategy I use that works for me like crazy. So what I do is, uh, if I see something that might benefit people and is extremely new, right? I take out my time to teach a whole lot of people, right? Most especially for free. And then by the time I'm done doing that, this most of these guys will be loyal and would want to come into that stuff through me. Actually, it worked for me then. So I was able to make some quite a good amount of money. Like someone that used to earn 10,000, is that earning? That used to get 10,000 naira every month from one aunt was now making close to 500,000 naira. So I was doing pretty good as a student. And then one day I was looking at the website. I realized that if I had used Bitcoin, I would be making more from MMM. So I had to, when I discovered that, I had to put more money into MMM. And to cut those very short, I lost between 90 to 95% of the money I made because I came from this poor background. So I really wanted to become rich quick. I was greedy, terribly greedy. So I invested everything back because in my mind, the more I invest, the more profit to come. So cut the short short, I lost everything. So I'll never forget one day in the evening, while I was thinking about my life, like, okay, why in the world did I put everything back just to get 50% using Bitcoin? And then I said to myself, wait, MMM was willing to pay 30% when you use Naira. But if you use Bitcoin, which is a kind of cryptocurrency, they are willing to pay 50%. What is this Bitcoin thing about that these guys are willing to pay more to get your Bitcoin? Because you don't pay more for something that is less valuable. I don't know if you get what I mean. So to me back then, right, who just started this whole online stuff, I thought Naira that everybody agrees is currency, Naira that I could cash out, go to the bank and withdraw, hold it with my hands. I thought that was real money. Anything online is online, is not real. You can To me, money is something you could feel and touch. So instead of me to be thinking, this is me, I was supposed to be thinking, this is how much I've lost. What have I done? Started, to start calling my name. But I was just thinking something else. So, and then it clicked. I decided to read more about Bitcoin. And guess what? Reading about Bitcoin back then was like, how you're watching a very interesting, what's this thing called? Was this, this movie they do that has different episodes? I don't know the name they call it, right? That has episode one, episode two. There's a name they call those kind of movies. So that was what it was like for me. So I watched the very first video about Bitcoin. I'm like, whoa, this thing sounds interesting. Then I watched the second one. I was just watching and watching. I was like, this could be something big, right? Then I stumbled across a video that talked about Bitcoin white paper, how Bitcoin was created, how that it was created in 2009, the price where it was in 2010, how that it was extremely cheap. I think as at then, I can't remember exactly, but I think when I was watching this video, Bitcoin should be about either two. I don't think it was up to 200. Bitcoin should be about either 50 or maximum $100 per Bitcoin. And as at then, you could get you could get one full Bitcoin with 200,000 naira or 150 thereabouts. You can get one full Bitcoin as at this time. I hope I'm not mistaken, but I'll check. So when I saw the price, right, and where it was in 2009, I was so impressed. I'm like, this thing moved from almost nothing to about $100, 150, right? What if I bought more? But as at this time, I remember what I said. I already lost everything, right? I already lost everything, so I didn't have much to gamble. Now, by this time, I was already skeptical. See, this is why you need knowledge before investing into anything, most especially into cryptocurrency. That is why we're here. If I had gotten the true knowledge of cryptocurrency and how to take advantage of businesses online, like most of you are listening right now, right, I probably wouldn't have lost all I lost in MMM, right? So that is why knowledge is supposed to come before investment, right? Let's say you're listening to this and you're new to cryptocurrency as a whole, right? You're at the right place because you've come to gain knowledge first before you started investing. And if you've already started putting money into cryptocurrency and you don't have at least the simplest knowledge ever, it is not too late, right? Most especially if you've not added something big and you've not lost any money. So mine, in my own case, because I started cryptocurrency quite early, so there were not, in fact, nobody in Africa as at then was talking about cryptocurrency, right? Doing webinars like the way we're doing today. So when I got the true knowledge about cryptocurrency, unfortunately, I was already broke. But when I said broke, I was richer than where I was before MMM. But this time, I was now poorer than where I was when there was MMM. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So I got the true knowledge, and I was ready out of money, right? But I still had, I still saw one or two opportunities to make extra with cryptocurrency. But before I get to how to make money with cryptocurrency, how to know what all those stuff is all about, right? So what exactly did I watch in this video, in those videos? What exactly did I watch? So one of the things I learned from those videos I watched so many videos, I just summarize them, right? I learned something about money, what money really is, right? Before I got true knowledge of what cryptocurrency is or was, is cryptocurrency still there? I never really understood what money really was or really is. And of course, I don't know if it's because I didn't study anything about finance, right? I did computer science, but I learned that there is currency and there is money. And money is what everybody agrees it is. Money is what everybody agrees it is, right? And in 2000 and can't remember the exact year, I think it was in 2008 or so, or 2007, there was a global financial meltdown where the price of stocks, everything was just all the markets, global market was just crashing. And then from what I read and what I watched, I found out that the people who caused the global financial meltdown or global financial crash were the government and banks. Listen. The people who caused the issue that made the market crash was government and banks. And then in 2009, Satoshi, who is the creator of Bitcoin. Nobody knows, as of today, nobody knows if Satoshi is a man, a woman, a boy, or a girl, right? Or a group of persons. No one knows. But Satoshi decided to create cryptocurrency, or should I Bitcoin, right? Which is a type of cryptocurrency. I don't. I know there are a lot of people that don't like calling Bitcoin a type of cryptocurrency, but it is. Okay, so he now said to himself, "Can we have since the money we've been used to, which is the paper money, is created by the government, and today money is not backed by anything." So before I continue, there's something that happened in 1971. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of, actually, so many things happened in 1971. Hold on. So in 1971, or before 1971, so the USA was the world power, right? They said the world power, but this was freshly done as at then. So the whole world, countries around the world used to, or the most businesses, top businesses, used to keep their money, right? Their gold in USA, right? And then after several wars, there were different countries had wars. USA had to fight with this nation, with that country, and blah 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 blah. And US was already sitting as a world power. Now people used to take their gold, which was the purest form of money as at then. Some people still argue that Bitcoin is gold is the purest form of money because it's made by God, and Bitcoin is not made by God, so it's not the purest form of money. But anyways, that's a discussion for another day. So people would take their gold, right, and go to the bank. Let's call it the bank, right, and deposit in the bank, and then the bank will give them a receipt. So this receipt that the bank give, let's say you deposit Bitcoin worth $100, so the bank will give you a receipt that says you have $100 in the bank, $100 worth of gold in the bank. So what people now started doing is, because gold is a metal, right, and it's quite heavy, so you can't carry 10,000 naira worth of gold, or $10,000 worth of gold. I'm talking about, or $1 million worth of gold, right? It's very it's not, you can't easily move gold, like, so. And of course there was no this digital transaction then, so people started using that receipt they got as money. So they'll be like, okay, I'll come to you and said, I want to buy this car from you. So here's a proof that I have. Your car is $100. Here's a proof, this paper proof received from the bank, that I have $100 in the bank, $100 worth of gold. So you can take that $100 worth of gold to the bank and cash out, and I'll give you the car, and then you will give me the car. So that's one of the ways paper money started, right? So there was this assumption back then, right? There was this assumption back then that for every 1 million receipts out there, let's assume one receipt from the bank equals to 1 ounce of gold, or one gold. So there was this belief that if there are 1 million receipts in Nigeria, as an example, it means that there is 1 million, or should I say, there are 1 million units of gold in the bank. Sorry, yeah, in the bank. So that was the assumption. That was how it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, the the world power as at then, and the president of the United States then was President Nixon. He now saw a loophole, and then he said, "Well, we noticed people believed, or people have accepted that this paper money, this paper or receipt is money, and they believe that one of these paper represents money in the bank, but they believed it without seeing the actual gold." That was a loophole. For example, I know there are several Nigerians listening right now. If I should ask a question right now, I said if I should ask, what is the total units of 1,000 naira notes circulating in Nigeria? Would you know? Nobody knows. Not even the CBN governor can know. Why? Because if I take one, one, 1,000 naira note and I tear it into pieces, I have actually reduced the circulation of 1,000 naira units paper in the market. So how will the CBN know that I've damaged a unit and they should replace it? There's no way they can know. So they work with assumption. Now, remember what I said earlier that paper money started by people believing that each unit of money is backed. There's gold backing that unit in the bank. That was how paper money started. But guess what? The world today doesn't function that way. So let me go back to what I was saying. So the United States government discovered the loophole and said, "Hey, these guys actually believed what we said. Hmm. So let's print more paper. Let's print more receipts." You see, so they started printing more receipts. They started printing more paper, and let's say the government, what's that? Okay, let's say the government wants to create a new road, and they don't have this money. Because they know that if people see this particular paper, this particular receipt, that it came from the bank, they would accept it. So they started taking advantage of that. So the government will print excessive papers, excessive receipts, and use it to fund themselves, use it to fund projects. That was how in 1971, exactly in 1971. So let me just read it out, right? So the Bretton Woods Agreement established that the US dollar was the dominant reserve currency and that the dollar was convertible to gold at the fixed rate of $35 per ounce. Right. In 1971, President Nixon terminated the convertibility of the US dollar to gold. So when the government started, overspending more than the gold reserve they had, they now said, "Oh yeah, it's okay." Now the way it was before is that if you bring your receipts, let's say you have $1 million, meaning you have 1 million gold, you could take that receipt to the bank and get your gold. The president now said, "It's okay, no more, nobody can convert anymore. That paper you have is now your gold, it's not your money." So that was when the direct convertibility of gold. Money was backed by gold globally. But from this 1971 to upward, up until today, money stopped being backed by gold. So every currency you have today is fake, is backed by absolute nothing. Most especially currencies in Africa is backed by nothing. You see? So that's where it started from. And then Satoshi, whoever they are, whoever he is, or whoever she is, saw these stuffs and was like, no, no, this can't happen. We need to change the world. We need to make the world a better place. We need to redeem the currency of the people. Because democracy is supposed to be a government, how do you even say it? Government for the people, by the people, and for the people, something like that, right? So if we have government printing money out of thin air and they don't have any backing, this should change, right? And everybody believed this currency from the government, this paper from the government is real money. So if everybody can believe that this paper from the bank is real, that means money is what we all agree it is. Whether it is backed by gold, backed by silver, as long as we all agree that this is money, then it is. So that was what Satoshi did, and that was why Satoshi created Bitcoin, which is one of the first cryptocurrency ever created. You see, so that was how Bitcoin was bettered. Now, One of the challenges that that gold had was that because governments could easily seize your gold anytime. Remember what I said earlier that in 1971 President Nixon stopped everybody from converting their gold. So he now said, okay, let's build a type of money that will function based on pure demand and supply. Pure demand and supply. Meaning if people demand for Bitcoin more, the price should go up. And if people with demand for Bitcoin less, the price should go down. Pure demand and supply. So that was how, and also Bitcoin should have a function, right, or a specification that makes it difficult for government to confiscate. You see, so Bitcoin became the first cryptocurrency that was transparent, that grows, that increases in value based on the interest of citizens, of its users. So the more people demand for Bitcoin, the price goes up. It's simple economics, demand and supply. So he created Bitcoin, and Bitcoin became really decentralized, right? And also became really transparent. And these are the two things that government don't like. That is why to date, people don't like Bitcoin. Sorry, the banks and government don't like Bitcoin. So moving forward, right? I'll just fast forward a little bit to the future. When this whole MMM thing happened and blah 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 blah, the federal government of Nigeria, brought out several. Sorry about the noise in the background. It's my dog. Brought out several circulation, several news through the banks, through the news media, that they are going to, because MMM has crashed. MMM took a lot of people's money. That they will ban Bitcoin because people use Bitcoin for Ponzi. Now, people that were smart enough knew that statement was off the track because MMM used both Naira and Bitcoin for the Ponzi. So why ban only Bitcoin when the platform used Bitcoin and Naira? You see, so as all these things were happening, it was now making me realize that hey, that means those things I watched in those videos are really true. Because one of the things I watched and one of the things I learned from those videos is that Bitcoin will regain people's freedom to own assets and money back to them. So now, Bitcoin is built with a technology, with of course with several technology, but there's a general word we call Bitcoin, which is DLT. It's an abbreviation for distributed ledger technology. So, what is the distributed ledger technology? How exactly does it work? How exactly does Bitcoin work? So, I said something earlier that the more people demand for Bitcoin, the more the price goes up. That also works in its technology. So, Bitcoin. Now, when I'm saying Bitcoin, I'm saying Bitcoin to represent using it to represent the entire cryptocurrency in the whole Web3 space. So, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. Just that I cannot. Okay, let me just say cryptocurrency instead of I mentioning Bitcoin. But I'm using Bitcoin to explain. So just bear with me. So whenever I say Bitcoin, just know I'm referring to the entire cryptocurrency, even though some of them are quite different. Okay. So the way Bitcoin was built is built in such a way that the more people, I've talked about the demand and supply part of it. Now, it's built in such a way that the more people plug their power to Bitcoin, the stronger Bitcoin becomes. So Bitcoin has what is called hash rate. Hash rate. Hash rate does means okay now picture all of us here, all of us listening, or everyone in the world. Everyone has this superpower, and then your superpower is what um your superpower is what sorry, your superpower can power how can I give this example? Your superpower can power a small sector in Nigeria, right? Or your superpower can charge a phone in 10 minutes. Now, but Nigeria needs lights. So some people are saying, well, uh, I have enough power to power my house, and there are some powers I can also donate to Nigeria so that there'll be enough electricity to go around. You see? But some people can choose to say, well, I'm not going to donate my power to the national grid. I'll use all my power to myself. So if everybody in Nigeria decides to donate their superpowers, maybe 10% of it or 20% of it, to the national grid will be bigger and stronger, right? And then everybody will have 24-hour electricity, right? But if only 10% of the people decides to contribute their superpower to national grid, there will not be a lot of electricity to go around. The electricity that will be available, we'll be able to solve only 10% of Nigerians' electricity demand. The same thing works with most cryptocurrencies, I believe. So for using Bitcoin as an example, right, other cryptocurrencies has the same feature, but they call it something else. Okay. Now Bitcoin has what is called a node, and every other blockchain as well has node. So a node is a unit. It's like you having a superpower, right? So you can actually, start up a node. So if Bitcoin, let's assume Bitcoin in January of 2024, Bitcoin had 100 nodes. If after listening to what we're talking about today, right, how to give strength and power to Bitcoin, to cryptocurrencies, if after listening to this, let's assume at the end of this session or few months' time, we had 100,000 people listen to this, and 100,000 people decide to spin up their own node and contribute power to the Bitcoin network, it means that Bitcoin will be 100,000 times stronger than how it was in January. You see? So that is how it works for Bitcoin. And it is also similar to other blockchains. It's similar. So I don't want to go in depth, right, about other blockchains because, okay, let me just give you an overview so that I have an idea of how it works on other blockchains. Now, for Bitcoin, Bitcoin has what we call mining pools. These are the big guys that have big mining machines that can contribute big energy to Bitcoin. Right. So there are other smaller guys, right, that can contribute, that can spin up a node to give Bitcoin energy. Now, the Bitcoin mining pools, which are the big guys, are usually small in number. Right. Last I checked, they've never exceeded 20. They've never exceeded 15. But Bitcoin nodes exceeds. Last I checked, there were well over 10,000 nodes in the Bitcoin network. Last I checked. Maybe I'll check it after this call. So if after listening to this, there are 10,000 people that have listened to this stuff that I've said, and these 10,000 people decide to spin their own nodes, it therefore means that the strength of Bitcoin doubled because the node before was 10,000. And now the total node is now extra 10,000. It means Bitcoin is now twice as strong than how it was before. This is how the blockchain works. So, what exactly is Bitcoin as a blockchain or Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency? Is there a difference? Are they the same thing? Well, cryptocurrencies are built on a blockchain, right? And every blockchain, not every blockchain, but most blockchains have their own cryptocurrency. The blockchain, using Bitcoin example, Bitcoin was built in such a way that it was very rigid. Satoshi was not flexible on how he built Bitcoin. Right, he just built the blockchain and the blockchain technology, the DLT or whatever, and then built a currency on it. Right. Then, few years later, some people, that Satoshi was was communicating with, because they had a forum back in the day, in the early days of Bitcoin, or in the early days of cryptocurrency. Now, in this forum, Satoshi talked about this idea that he was building the whole Bitcoin stuff and blah blah blah. Some people will come with criticize it, some people will come with bring ideas. Satoshi was asking for ideas, asking for opinion from the entire tech community as at then. Now, I remember, as at this time, even up until date, nobody knew what Satoshi was. So people back then, because this forum where they were chatting, there was nobody, most people did not have their profile picture. So everybody was just talking anonymously. Right? And his name was Satoshi. So there's a guy called Dan Lariba. Many of you might not know him, but it's fine if you don't know him. So Dan Lariba now said, well, I love this technology you're building, but I think there might be an issue with this technology called Bitcoin in the future. Why don't you make it flexible? Why don't you make it faster? Why don't you do this? Why don't you? He was just bringing ideas. And then Satoshi, who was very rigid, I think Satoshi knew why he wanted Bitcoin to be that way. Satoshi did not buy the idea of how Bitcoin should be. So, to cut the story short, Dan Larima uh, and someone called Vitalik Buterin, these two key persons, they were, of course, they were learning from Satoshi. They were seeing what he was doing, and they were already programmers as well. And then let me start from Vitalik. Vitalik now said, well, I love this technology. So, but for me to learn this technology more, I need to serve. So Vitalik Buterin started as a writer. He now started writing for a Bitcoin magazine. So, and you and I know that you cannot write without reading. Because for you to write, you must have read something or watched something, understood what you watched, not like today that we have ChatGPT that can just write anything for you. So this guy called Vitaly Buterin was busy studying about this whole technology, how fascinating it was going to be, right? And of course, he was a developer as well. So after reading so much about Bitcoin, he now saw what Dan Larima, please pay attention, right? I'm giving you history. He now saw what Dan Larima was saying. He was like, okay, let me try to implement this thing to create another type of blockchain, just like Satoshi did with Bitcoin. But this time, this blockchain will be programmable. You can use it to build other stuffs. So the young guy called Vitaly Buterin built a technology or a blockchain called Ethereum. That was how Ethereum was bettered. So Ethereum was bettered because there were some issues with Bitcoin. And what was the issue? It was slow. As at then, it wasn't slow, but people knew it was going to be slow because, of course, it's technology, right? You could measure. That's one. Number two, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's blockchain was not programmable. You cannot build stuff on it. It was very rigid. So Vitalik Buterin built Ethereum. So when he built Ethereum, people were like the Bitcoin community after building Ethereum. I think it was after or maybe around before Ethereum went live. The Bitcoin community now went into serious issues. What was the issue? Now they were like they saw competition, and that's why competition is very good for business. But I'll take a pause here. I want to be sure you guys can see hear me. Can you see hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So I'll just go ahead. So there was when uh, when the Bitcoin community noticed that hey, more competition is coming, so they started having this debate where some people were like, this Bitcoin has it's very small block time of 1 megabyte. Can we make it faster? Can we make it bigger? Can we make the block time bigger so that Bitcoin can take more transaction? some people want it to be programmable, some people wanted it to be faster, but Satoshi said no. So Bitcoin was divided into two community. There was one set of community that agreed, that was on the side of Satoshi, saying, let it be as it is. Thank you very much. We don't need any extra. Then there was another community that said, well, uh, let's make Bitcoin faster and bigger. So they now had what they call a Bitcoin fork. It is spelled Bitcoin FORK. So what is a Bitcoin fork or a fork? A fork is when you take a code base, you divide it into two, or you copy a code base or a program. So Bitcoin community was divided into two. One side went this way, saying, okay, we're going to maintain Bitcoin as it is. The other side went this way and said, hey, okay, we are the new Bitcoin, we are the main Bitcoin. This is the original idea of what Bitcoin is supposed to be, right? So they kept dividing and dividing and dividing. So, cut the story short, this guy called Vitalik was now making waves because people now saw people now saw what they didn't see with Bitcoin, because the only thing you could do with Bitcoin was to send and receive. That was all. But with Ethereum, you could create a new cryptocurrency on Ethereum, which is called a token. You could write a smart contract that says, okay, I'm going to be I'm going to buy a house in Dubai. This house is worth $10, right? The smart contract will say, okay, you can write a smart contract and say, okay, once this person pays $10 to this smart contract, automatically change the ownership of this house to the person that sends the $10. So people were realizing what they could do, with blockchain. Ethereum brought about more knowledge about blockchain. So that was when the ICO boom started. So what is ICO? ICO means initial coin offering. So that was when the ICO boom started. And then everybody wanted to do an ICO. Several people created ICO and blah, 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 blah. So Ethereum became real known, real big. And then when the ICO era elapsed and died, right? Because people were starting to use ICO to do scam, that was when the airdrop era started. So people started also realizing that, okay, not only can I make money, or can we raise money through ICO, we can actually also raise money through airdrop. And they started doing airdrop, building their communities, and although we still do airdrop till today, right? So this is the journey of how cryptocurrency and blockchain started. The different people who made, of course, there are tons of people out there that made several contributions to the entire blockchain space. I can't call all of them because I don't even know how much more time do I have. Just let me know so that I'll know how to.
Okay, the session is meant for 1 hour, so you have like 15 minutes. So, but we can give like
Oh,
extra time.
oh, okay, okay, that's fine. So people now realize, okay, we could do so much more with blockchain, man. So it's not just about sending and receiving of Bitcoin, sending and receiving of Satoshi, and then that gave birth to ICOs, gave birth to IDOs, gave birth to LDOs, gave birth to airdrops, right? So, what exactly? I've already mentioned ICO. People don't do ICO anymore. The days of ICO are gone. Although one or two persons here and there still do ICO, but it's not as much as they were before. And then people started doing airdrop. So let me talk more about airdrop, because many of you must have been hearing about airdrops, right? And I know people. I have friends that have made tons of money. I mean, good money from airdrop, right? Myself, frankly speaking, I have never made a dime from airdrop before. If I have, or if I had, I would have told you. Remember how I told you I made money from MMM? I was sincere enough to say that. But airdrop, I have never made a kobo from airdrop before. I've never made money from airdrop. Or maybe I have, but I don't think I can remember any significant money I made from airdrop. Why? Because So what exactly is this airdrop? Before I tell you why I don't do airdrop, but not because there's anything wrong with it. So airdrops are, you know how companies have shares, right? So what cryptocurrency companies started doing is they will create a cryptocurrency, maybe cryptocurrency XYZ. Right. After this, I'll talk about pump and dumps so that you guys will know what's going on in the space. So they create that cryptocurrency. Instead of selling this cryptocurrency to you, right? What they'll do is they'll give you this cryptocurrency free of charge. They'll distribute to as much people as possible. Now, what this will do in turn for the company is that because you have this cryptocurrency, let's say you have 100 units of this cryptocurrency, or you have 1,000 units of this cryptocurrency. Now, you that have this cryptocurrency, this airdrop, your goal is that the price increase because when and if the price goes up, you make more money. So when the cryptocurrency comes, you won't want to sell it initially. Or those people that don't participate, that couldn't get the airdrop, won't want to get left out because it'll be like the company will hire influencers to talk about the project. So when those people that don't receive the airdrop started saying that more big influencers are talking about the project, the people who didn't receive the airdrop will now start placing buy orders in exchanges to buy the cryptocurrency. So by the time these guys are placing the buy orders to buy the cryptocurrencies, you can see the demand is already there. So this company has successfully done several things using no money at all. So they've created a demand in the market. They've done free publicity because those who got the 10,000 units will tell his friend, "Hey, I did this airdrop. I got 10,000 units. Try them now. You could get it." So this one will tell that person. So they were getting marketing free of charge. You see, they were getting marketing free of charge because everybody wants to make money. So that was how airdrop started in those days, right? I did several airdrops. I'll not lie, in those days, 2018 or so or thereabouts. I did several airdrops, but I made absolutely no money. Maybe I was just unfortunate not to get anyone, right? And then I know some of my friends who actually did get some money. So is airdrop a scam? Airdrop could how do I answer that question now? Is airdrop a scam? Airdrop in itself could be used to scam people because I told you they use people's desire, to um, against them. So this company knows that okay, if we give them airdrop, they will promote us for free because they know that for the airdrop to give them money, the airdrop needs to be known. So people will naturally take when they register for the airdrop, they'll write that okay, for you to make extra, share your referral link to friends, you get extra unit of this coin. So they were getting free marketing. Now there are some companies that could use this as a bait to get free marketing for their products. There are some companies that could use this as a genuine idea or a genuine marketing strategy to promote their products and services. So airdrop in itself is not a scam. It depends on who is doing it. So a legitimate company can do it as a means of promotion, and a scammer can use it to promote something that is fake, get people's deposits, and go. So airdrop is just the way of companies doing marketing, letting people know about their product, but it could be used for bad and for good. Okay, now that is airdrop. Now the reason why I don't do airdrop, these are my personal reasons, and please don't take it to heart because I might be wrong as well. The reason why I don't do airdrop is for two reasons. Number one, um, the first one I did several years ago in 2018, thereabout, I made absolutely nothing. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, which still is still related to what I said earlier, is that if there are 10 airdrops, how would you know which one is legit and which one is good? Now there are ways to know. I will tell you. If I have time, I'll tell you how to know. But before I tell you how to know, there's something I want to talk about, which has been happening for the last 1 year, almost 2 years. Now, in this cryptocurrency space, right, we've said several things that it is decentralized, as how Satoshi built it, in built it in such a way that the government cannot seize it. It is pure, it's open, transparent, and blah 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 blah. This feature, and I also remember I said Vitalik Buterin made it possible for people to be able to create their own cryptocurrency, using smart contracts. I remember I said all those things. Now, after Vitalik Buterin, several other people said, okay, remember how what I said? I said Vitalik Buterin created Ethereum because he saw some issues with Bitcoin. Now, the same way Vitalik Buterin created Ethereum, that was how some people created other blockchains because they saw some issues with Ethereum. You see, they were just seeing issues and creating new blockchains. Now, people now realize, most especially influencers, within the last 1 year, I've seen several, even though I will not talk about it on my social media handle. Now, there are people, most especially influencers, that have been doing pump and dump, right? And so, what is pump and dump? So, pump and dump is when, um, you know how I said Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies uses pure demand and supply, right? So, the more people demand a particular cryptocurrency, the more the price goes up. That was what I said about Bitcoin earlier. So, influencers now they are now taking advantage of this. So, what they do, which is very easy to do, is they will meet a programmer. The programmer will look for a blockchain that is way better than Ethereum, right? And creates a cryptocurrency, call it ABC. And then this influencer will pay some other influencers or talk to his friends, say, okay, I've created my cryptocurrency. Please, let's push it. So they'll create buzzwords and start talking about it on social media, right? And tell you, this is the next big thing. And guess what? Because it is coming from an influencer that you respect, an influencer that you know, if an influencer you would want to go and buy. Okay, you'll be like, okay, because I'm not too sure, let me put $10. But guess what? The same way you're saying, this influencer has 5 million followers and he has 10 other friends that have 5 or 10 million followers. All cumulatively, they have about maybe 20 million followers or 30 million followers. Now, if out of 30 million followers, it's only 1 million that bought their coin with $10 each, how much have they made? $10 million. Hope my math is correct. And then these influencers, they know down inside their heart that this cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. Guess what they will do? They will, as you're buying this cryptocurrency, you're actually buying it from these influencers. They're the ones selling it to you via the exchanges. So when they sell it to you, you give them your $10. They'll give you the cryptocurrency that has no future. Let me not say no value, because remember what I said. I said Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is built in such a way that the value it has comes from pure demand and supply. So it has value. But they will sell you a cryptocurrency that they don't have plan to build on, right? And then they cash out their money, go their way, and then you're left with an empty cryptocurrency at the end of the day. So it is called pump and dump. I know several influencers in my country, Nigeria, that has done this. Right. As a matter of fact, I think 4 months ago, 5 months ago, some group of guys called me up and said, "Hey, we want to build and push this meme coin. Right? Would you be part of it?" I just straight to the point. I told the guy, "No, I'm not going to be a part of it." Right now, in this part of the world, right, Nigeria, there is there's little to no consequences for things like this. You do pump and dump, you can go scot free. But you try this outside the country, in some well-developed countries, you are in jail immediately. So what I'm trying to say in summary is that pump and dumps are illegal. Are illegal. It's stealing. And I've seen so many pump and dumps within the last 1 year, even though I cannot talk about them, right? But you have to be careful why investing into cryptocurrency. You can make crazy money from cryptocurrency, right? I told you how I met Bitcoin under $200. I met Bitcoin at $200, less than $200. Rather, I remember I met Ethereum itself at $10, about $9 to $10. That's when I met Ethereum, right? Today Ethereum is all over $2,000. Bitcoin is almost hitting $70,000. But I met it at $200. But of course, then I was broke. I told you, if you heard the story, you remember the story, right? So you have to be careful while investing into cryptocurrency. So because I have those 3 minutes left, I'll just give you tips on what to do. What are the things you should look out for while investing into cryptocurrency? Now, investing into cryptocurrency doesn't necessarily mean you need to use money. You can use your time, you can use your energy, you can use, for example, I see people tap their screen, right? That's that's 4 hours or 5 hours or 6 minutes that you're using to tap your screen, right? Could be used to do something else. Now, I'm not saying those tapping are wasting their time. I'm not saying that either. After all, the last one they tapped, nothing came out of it, right? Now, that doesn't mean everyone tapping their screen to mine coins are wasting their time. I'm not saying that either, right? But what I'm saying is there are some things you can look out. A legit company that means good could actually create an airdrop like that where you're tapping your screen and then it could do good. So I'm not saying tapping itself is bad, but I'll just highlight some few things that you should take note of while investing your time and energy into either buying or cryptocurrency or doing airdrops. So number one, every we are in a technological era, right? And that cryptocurrency you're buying, or that coin you're buying, even though you're referring to coin and cryptocurrency, should have a use case. Should have a use case. You see, earlier this year, I saw several people buying and investing into meme coins. I could not shout. I could not shout. For those of you that can see my status on WhatsApp, I can bet throughout this year, I have never ever posted anything about meme coins. Never. Because they are used by the rich to get money from the poor. So if you're investing into meme coins, whether you're investing your time, money, or energy, you have to be smart. Make your profits if you can and go your way. Those are not real investment. Right. So if you're investing into cryptocurrency, remember what I said, investment doesn't necessarily mean you're putting money. You could be putting your time, you could be putting your data, you could be putting energy. So ask yourself, this cryptocurrency, right, that I'm putting my money into or energy into, does it have a good technology? Is it built on a good blockchain? Right. What is their white paper like that? Like most, I noticed most cryptocurrencies don't use white paper anymore. What is on their website? What is their plan for the future? What exactly does this cryptocurrency do? Every cryptocurrency should have a use case. If you read through the website, through the white paper, through the documentation, and you cannot find a clear use case or a clear problem that cryptocurrency is solving, then you are most likely wasting your time. So point number one, it should have a use case. Point number two, the team behind it, right? So the people behind this cryptocurrency, who are they? What have they built before? What have they built in the past? Right? Do they have good reputation? Right? Do they have good reputation? Now, if it's a fake cryptocurrency, you will never see those behind it. That is why 99.99% of meme coins that people invest their time into, the founders don't reveal themselves. In fact, some of these meme coins, they will tell you this is just an experiment, a social experiment. So a good cryptocurrency should have use case. Sorry, should have a good team behind it. Now, for those of you that can do your research, go and research on the biggest ICO in the entire crypto world. The biggest ICO. Now, the biggest ICO in the history of cryptocurrency and blockchain was done by EOS, a cryptocurrency called EOS. I know I have a few minutes now, I'll round up. A cryptocurrency called EOS. Now, EOS raised $4.1 billion. Why? The reason why EOS made the highest ever ICO money raised, ICO means they raise money. The reason why they raised $4 billion is not because they said something that someone else did not know. Actually they say something that someone else don't know. Actually, someone else would have said what they said actually. But the reason why they raise, number one, their white paper or their documentation clearly states the use case why they are building what they are building. Number one. Number two, the team behind EOS was a very strong team. They had experience. One of the team members of EOS was the guy I told you. Two people, uh, two notable people chatted with Satoshi. I mentioned Vitalik Buterin. I also mentioned Dan Larima. Dan Larima was the person that raised the EOS ICO. So they traced Dan Larima. Who is this guy? What has he built in the past? What is his track record in the cryptocurrency space? So when people did their research and noticed that, hey, this Dan Larima guy was also around when Satoshi was building Bitcoin, and he also mentioned and forecasted some of the issues that Bitcoin will have. And people realize that, oh, most of the things that Dalema said would happen to Bitcoin has already started happening. That means this guy is genius. So that is why he raised the biggest money ever in the history of cryptocurrency. So that airdrop you're doing, that cryptocurrency you want to buy, who is the team behind it? What have they built before in the past? What has been their track record in this whole technological space? Most people don't check these things. They'll just hear, oh, this TikTok influencer, this art, this music artist is launching a cryptocurrency. I don't go buy. No, it doesn't work that way. So that's point number two. Oops, I'm out of time. Okay, that's the number two things you should take note of, and of course number three is the technology behind it. The technology. I mentioned something before. I said coin, and I also say token. So blockchains, right? Cryptocurrencies can be built or tokens can be built on a blockchain, right? So this cryptocurrency you're about to buy, on which blockchain is it seated on? There are some blockchains that don't have a future. There are some blockchains that will not last. So if you're buying a cryptocurrency on a blockchain that whose technology is not good, for example, let me give an example, right? There's a cryptocurrency called Luna. Most of you, you're new to cryptocurrency, you will not know. If you started cryptocurrency this year, you will not know Luna. Now, Luna was one of the biggest cryptocurrency out there that year, in around between 2020, 2021, 2022, was one of the biggest cryptocurrencies out there. But there was a loophole in its technology. And guess what? People made a lot of money through Luna, but people also lost because Luna crashed to zero. Why? Because there were some flaws in its technology. So what is the strength of the technology that this cryptocurrency is built on? These things really matter if you're looking at making good money from cryptocurrencies, right? So I'll just stop at this 3 points. I hope you guys must have learned a thing or two, right? This is where we'll draw the curtains. I think I'll hand over to the host at this time.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. I enjoyed the fact that you took us through, like, you did a thorough dive on what cryptocurrencies are and how they evolve. Because, when you are talking to somebody about crypto and they're like, they all their mind, most of them, they're always thinking airdrops and most of the meme coins. And it's important that we understand that this actually came from, like, paper money, from gold. It's a transition, like, it's a continuum actually. So it's not something that just sprung up from somewhere, from the stars. So I would implore us, if you just joining us or you came late, I would love you to go back to when we started and you listen very well, because you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot explain to somebody what really crypto is when you don't know how it started. right? So, and this also, the knowledge you have now, will give you the confidence that this thing I'm doing is not scam. Oh. That there are many use cases, that it's not only airdrops, there are other use cases that are yet to be explored, and there is space for everybody in this ecosystem. So, I really want to appreciate, like, we are so, so grateful that you are like the first speaker to brush this thing thoroughly, and we are so grateful, to be very honest. Please, guys, you can also give him a shout out on social media, LinkedIn, Samuel Joseph. Yeah, catch him there on LinkedIn. And we actually have, I don't know if anybody has dropped a question on the chat box on YouTube, but we if you could just say, I know we're like behind time, but we have speakers for wallets, exchanges. So I would implore you all to, set your reminders. This class continues from now, like today till next week Saturday. It's like 10 days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday yet. So for this week and next week. So we'll have speakers talk more on airdrops, talk more on wallets and exchanges, all those trust wallets or kits you've been using. So I want you to say a little about stable coins. Sorry, altcoins. Yeah, altcoins. We've talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I'm sure people have heard about Solana and other like airdrops. I'm saying airdrops so good, and and other cryptocurrencies. So you could just say a little about airdrops, and maybe we could draw the curtain from there. Sorry about altcoins. I keep saying airdrops.
All right. So, altcoins, what are they? Altcoins, uh, they call them alternative coins. So, this whole altcoins thing started. Altcoin thing started during the days of Ethereum, and the people that coined the word altcoins are the Bitcoin maximalists. So in those days, in those early days of cryptocurrency, right? The people who loved Bitcoin, right, who said no, we want to maintain the original thing Satoshi built. What they did was, because Vitalik and his gang and his friends decided to move away to build something else, they now started calling every cryptocurrency that is not Bitcoin, they started calling them altcoin. So altcoin is a word that was coined by Bitcoin maximalists, Bitcoin faithfuls, to refer to cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin. So that is what altcoin is. So every other thing apart from Bitcoin is called altcoin. Okay, so now what is the fate of altcoin? Should I invest in altcoins? My answer, of course, this is my own personal opinion, is 100% yes, because personally I believe technology is should never be stagnant, right? The first iPhone that was built is not the best iPhone today. The first technology that was built is not the best today. The first telephone that was built, okay, did I just call it telephone? The first phone that was built is not the best phone today. They used to call it telephone back then, right? So, Bitcoin is the first blockchain and cryptocurrency that was built, and I don't think Bitcoin is the best today. Bitcoin has so many flaws, which some people think it's its strength. I don't believe that. That doesn't mean I don't believe in Bitcoin. I believe in Bitcoin so much. I talk about Bitcoin a lot, right? But I'm aware that there are other technologies, other cryptocurrencies that, or should I say altcoins, let me call them altcoins, that have solved some of the limitations faced by Ethereum, some of the limitations faced by Bitcoin, some of the limitations faced by EOS as well, right? And the list keeps going on and on. But like I mentioned, before you invest into any of these cryptocurrencies, right, please do about enough research. And if you don't have time to do research, there are people out there, there are YouTube channels where they dedicate their time to doing a deep dive into these cryptocurrencies or these altcoins, to let you know whether they are good to go or not, right? So that's what I have to say about that.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so sure that if you are been thinking of what altcoins are, you you've understood it now properly. So this is 11 minutes past 9 p.m. West African time, and we would, in as much as we would love to continue and stay because there's a whole lot to talk about in the cryptocurrency space, especially for beginners. But I'm so sure that this 1 hour, 11 minutes was so meaningful and impactful for you. And we want to keep it short so that you can learn and continue to learn. And like you said, there are so many resources on YouTube. Yeah, even in our channel here, we made recordings and videos like way back, so you can actually like check it out and all. So we want to really appreciate you, Mr. Samuel. Thank you for accepting our invite. Thank you for this piece of information, and we hope to invite you someday for another interesting session on this. And guys, I really hope you actually took something from here. So we will drop a link shortly. You're going to retweet what you learned from this class under the pilot tweets um, on our X handle. Like you make a retweet, what you learned, let people know that you started learning about crypto, that you're not just hearing it, but you are like learning about it. So tomorrow we'll be talking about wallets, setting up the right wallet, choosing the right wallet, and then we'll take it up from there Wednesday. And so we've had like speakers, not not people that are not good. We have season speakers lined up for this session. So please do well to mark your calendars and set your reminders for tomorrow's space. Thank you, Mr. Sawa, once again. And for you that joined this session, we want to say a big thank you. Thank you for spending this 1 hour with us. We do not even take you for granted one bit. Thank you for choosing to learn information. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you tomorrow. So, Mr. Samuel, please, before we like go off, do you have any last words? Not like last words per se, but do you have anything you want to like leave with the audience? I know we'll still hear from you soon. So yes, please. Hello, Mr. Sam, are you here? Okay, I think we have actually gone off. Okay, so I think we could just wrap it up from here. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Let me just check if it's going to come up again. We won't want to keep you for too long, and well, so he said something like before you involve in any task or ever, make sure that the project has use case and you have to check the team, right? Check them and all. So if you have any questions, please drop it in the chat box, or you can actually post them as a comment on our X handle, and we'll attend to it appropriately. Yes, so please, this is what. Okay. Let's see. Okay, someone has a question. So please, oh my God. Let's look to the question quickly. Right, so please, we apologize for that pause. We apologize. So this question from Truth is: Are BTC investors clueless as to BTC, not following the Bitcoin white paper? Is BTC just a clown show? So Mr. Samuel is not available right now, but our boss and our founder, Mrs. Victoria Upaka Okoroji, is live, and she is going to give us an answer to that question. Thank you. You have the floor, ma.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sam, for your time and for sharing your insight and your deep insight and understanding about crypto and how it all started. So yeah, let me answer the question. See, like taking a leaf from what Mr. Sam said, no cryptocurrency exists on its own. Every every cryptocurrency, the value every cryptocurrency has is based on the community, is based on on the people. So when Satoshi, whether it's a man or a woman or a group of persons, when Satoshi created um Bitcoin, right, and created the white paper, the idea behind it was that it was going to be a means of payment, it's centralized means of payment and a store of value. So but who is going to make that happen? People, individuals. The value that Bitcoin has today is because people saw the value, saw that, oh, this thing can be like this. We can store value in this. We can exchange this. We can use this for payments. And they believe in it enough to buy it and hold. Remember, the value of a token is based on the holders, not those not sellers. Because when people sell a token, the value drop. When there are more people holding the token or using the token within the ecosystem, the value goes up. So it's not, you can't just put it on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a product out there that human beings are using. So the value that Bitcoin has is based on the people around it. So Bitcoin is not a clown show. But I don't know why I don't know why I call it a clown show. It's not a clown show, right? I don't know why you say it's not following its white paper. It's not supposed to like magically become everything. Like even today, I saw someone who was making a prediction about Bitcoin hitting, was it $1 million? I think it's one of these what's his name? One of these popular industry people who drive, who because of their influence they can influence the retailers to start investing and doing things with Bitcoin. So what I'm trying to say is that you can't just call Bitcoin a clown show or say it's not following its white paper, because in essence Bitcoin is supposed to be store of value and a means of payment, a decentralized means of payment. It wasn't even supposed to be, they weren't supposed to build on it. Like Mr. Joseph said, he was Vitalik and said, okay, oh, blockchain can be more, and brought the concept of smart contracts and all of those things. So whatever cryptocurrency, even all those shit coins and meme coins or and degen and all of those things, they have value, any form of value, because of what? Some persons came together and they believed in it enough to put money in it. If you don't put money in a crypto project, it won't have any value. So Bitcoin has value, and whatever people decide to use with it, those are the people that are ascribing value to it, and not Bitcoin. Just like which other example I can give? I don't know if this makes if I have answered your question, Mr. Truth. What about Turuchi? Turuchi had a question, but Turuchi did drop it. But just like the my co-host said, if you have further questions from today's class, you can drop it on our X handle at Valucop Official. You can drop it on our Instagram handle at Valucop Global. You can drop it on our Facebook handle at Valucop Global. Or you can even drop it here, here, as soon as this live, as soon as you can see this live as a recorded version of this live. All right. So thank you very much for today. Tomorrow is going to be extra amazing because remember we are trying to delve into the foundation, the fundamentals of crypto. So we're going to enter into crypto trading, centralized exchanges, how to do these things, even how to like if you want to participate in airdrop. Airdrop is one of the ways you can make money in the crypto space, right? But what are the what are how ways to participate in it? Mr. Joseph said he has never made any money in airdrops, right? which is understandable, right? He's a skilled person. He's a blockchain developer. That's an entire different area where anybody can use their skills to make money. So what I'm saying is, make sure you stay around for the next few days and grab all the value you can. This is the best way to get started in crypto space. You, through knowledge. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. So, at this point, we're going to draw the curtains, and we want to say thank you once again and good night. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Valucop, sorry X rather, and then retweet what you have learned. So we'll have to see you guys tomorrow. Good night. Thank you.
Okay. Duration one.